Welcome back. Comcast says it's over. It will not try to merge with Time Warner Cable. Hillary Clinton probably wishes she could close a case that quickly as partisan allegations of wrongdoing swirl around her once again. Joining us now to talk about those headlines and more, Jim Dinegar, head of the Greater Washington Board of Trade, and communications specialist Richard LEVICK. Gentlemen, welcome. Great having you here. Startling news this week, bombshell news, you could say, Jim, on the decision by Comcast and Time Warner Cable not to head to the altar.
Right. It unraveled very quickly in the last couple of days, and it was the mega merger of the year. This was the one that everybody's watching. There's a lot of money being spent on it, a lot of legal work, certainly a lot of lobbying as well, but it's not to be. I don't think that that means that Comcast won't merge with someone, and I don't think that it means that Time isn't up for sale, but we'll wait and see. I think everybody needs to take a breather for a little bit, but it'll get active again soon.
It was never a slam dunk. Presumably their decision to withdraw their merger application is a sign that they thought either it was going to be a really tough slog or that at the end of the process it was likely to be rejected.
Right. Once you get put up for a hearing at the FCC, that seems to be the death knell. But in addition, you're looking at two very important agencies that have jurisdiction, the Federal Communications Commission and the Justice Department. That's a pretty big leap for anybody. And they both had the, I don't know, I guess they both had some real concerns about this merger.
Let's focus on 2016 for a moment, gentlemen. A lot of the talk now, and I think going forward, is going to be about the Democratic frontrunner. She's so far ahead of the pack. It feels almost, Richard, like she's already the Democratic nominee, even though it's very early in the process. But this new book about Hillary Clinton and the potentially troubling overlapping circles as it relates to money in the Clinton Foundation, it feels like that conversation's just beginning.
Well, I think it is, but only for a little while. It's so much about nothing. Hillary Clinton has been dealing with these kinds of allegations since Whitewater, 1992, and just like Whitewater, it was the New York Times who tried to make the story legitimate. But even the author says in his preface, no laws are broken, no ethics have been breached. It's the same old, same old. I think for the Republicans, what they have to be concerned about is these constant attacks at some time wear thin.
The author of the book has partnered with some high-powered media organizations, so I think for some of this is going to bear watching.
Well, I think that it's the presidential campaign, and this is very early in the presidential campaign, but these are what candidates get to consider as to whether or not there's anything in their closet that needs to be a concern. And I have to say that she's weathered many over the years. It's interesting that this may flip back on, I would sort of say, the accusers instead of the accused. And it's, why do you keep bringing things up? Why do you keep going after this? What do you have against her? I think the message does get to wear thin, but boy, there's plenty of fodder out there, and she keeps serving it up.
It seems like just about everyone's vying for their party's presidential nomination next time is a current or former governor or a sitting senator. We do have a business person poised to throw her Manolo Blahniks into the race.
Oh, I thought you were talking Mitt Romney there for a moment. I was confused. You know, you do have almost 12 angry men there. Then you've got Carly coming into the race. She's polling at somewhere between 2% nationally and less than that, 1% in New Hampshire. She's not going to be a serious candidate, but she serves an important role. One, for herself, more headlines. Two is that if chivalry ever enters the race, although I don't expect that, but if in fact there's blowback on the 11 likely candidates for the Republican men, then they've got a female to argue against the likely female nominee for the Democrats.
Jim, should the local high-tech community feel snubbed by the Department of Homeland Security looking so far west?
No, I think the region needs to get their act together, our collective act together as it relates to Homeland Security and cybersecurity. It's ours to lose, and in many respects, when you have Virginia and Maryland arguing with each other about we're home to cyber, and the District of Columbia saying us too, we're missing out to Silicon Valley, and they're eating our lunch as it relates to cyber overall with the visibility, but no one matches what we have in this region in terms of strengths associated with cyber community. The Cyber Command up in Fort Meade, the CIA, the Pentagon, for goodness sakes, it's all here, but we spend so much time arguing with ourselves that we fail to realize our competition really is California. So I don't fault DHS for looking out there. They've got to develop a better relationship with the tech community, but the government is here, and maybe the tech community needs to find us a bit more.
Sometimes it's when the second restaurant opens that the first restaurant opens its game.
That's right.
Gentlemen, stand by for just a moment. When we return, the quick take. Final question, is this the end of the mega mergers? Our guests weigh in after this. Gentlemen, let's end where we began, the dissolution of the proposed Comcast-Time Warner cable merger. Jim, is this the end of the mega merger?
No, I think we're in high season. There's a lot of money on the sidelines, a lot of things to merge, whether it's communications companies, airlines, banks, big tech companies, and others. I think we're on the front side of a big M&A year.
A belief that bigger can be better.
Absolutely. Jim is absolutely right. There's too much money out there. It's too much profit.
Richard, Jim, thanks very much. Great having you guys here. As always, great having you with us. Let us know what you thought of the show. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and of course, watch past interviews at WJLA.com. Thanks for watching.